Good evening, church. Hope you're having a good start to your week this Monday, and wanted to lend some encouragement back to you guys since there was a lot of you that showed up yesterday for our parking lot service and encouraged me as I preached for my first time. It was a blessing, and I was humbled to have all of you there to support me and also just to hear the word. That's what we're all aiming for every week, and just honored and blessed to be a part of that role. And I wanted to encourage you back and let you know that I think that above all else that's going on right now, we find comfort in love. I think one of the most important lessons that Jesus taught us throughout his whole ministry, and you can probably see it in every single miracle, lesson, sermon, everything that he did, the foundation was love. And I want to share with you a real world example of love and how that can hopefully bring some comfort in regarding to what's going on today. In 1914, on Christmas Eve of World War I, it was the Battle of Ypres, and in the midst of it on Christmas Eve, the Germans and the British ceased to attack each other. They sang together, they joked around, they played soccer, and for a moment, for one night, they were just men with other men, human with human, and they were loving one another. They were kind to one another. They were compassionate toward one another. They understood the bigger picture than the war that was going on. And what's so important is that World War I was probably one of the most brutal and violent wars recorded to date. And during the midst of all of it, in the trenches and the mud and the blood, they were able to find love and choose love. Now, I want to remind you that love is a choice. I know we oftentimes understand that it's a feeling, and we feel like we love people and we love things, and that's real as well. But true love that Jesus showed us, is an active choice. When you're angry with someone, it's pretty difficult to love them, but it's an active choice to love them. And it's putting others before you. And there's a couple examples from Scripture that I want to share with you that hit on that. And the first one is probably one of the most well-known scriptures, is John 3:16. For God so loved the world, he gave his only son. Now, I can only imagine from a father or a mother's perspective, giving your child is one of the most sacrificial things you can show as an act of love. Just as God had Abraham show with Isaac when he asked him to sacrifice him. And I think that right there is an example of the type of loving God that we serve, a covenant God, a compassionate God, one that loves sacrificially. And Jesus showed that throughout his whole ministry for us to have salvation and for us to have the ultimate example of what love looks like. Another scripture that talks about the description of love and what it breaking it down is 1 Corinthians 13. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. Love is not proud. Love is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but it rejoices in the truth. Love always protects, always hopes, always trusts, always perseveres. Love never fails. Now, I think that we could spend a lot of time in each individual one of those attributes and descriptions of love. I know I personally am challenged and struggle with a few of those, and I'm sure that we all could use work on some of those. And if we did, if we all followed Jesus' example and worked on ourselves as individuals where we struggle, the world would be so much of a better place. If everybody was so focused on internalizing those boundaries within themselves to be patient, kind, not self-seeking, and everything that wraps up into that, I think there would be a lot less hate in the world, a lot less violence. If everybody was loving one another as sacrificially as Jesus did, in such a selfless way, I think that's the model that Jesus intended when he came down to show us. While we are here on earth waiting and aiming our lives towards salvation in heaven. We have a lot of opportunity to make this a lot more peaceful place. And I'm comforted that we have that opportunity within the churches, within our families, within our communities. And I want to challenge all of us to take that challenge and live up to the expectation that Jesus set with his love. And I just want to say, let love have the last word in every conversation, everything that we do, everything that we exemplify in our lives. I love you, church, and I hope you have a blessed week.